Welcome back to another episode of Jim Cleans Carburetors. It might be one of those, I'm not quite sure at this point. So, GSX-R, am I going to get interrupted? Are they coming here? No. GSX-R400R SP. It's a GK70, I was going to say 76A, but it's definitely not one of the GK, standby. GK73A, I think it is, for the anoraks out there. There are a lot of people out there that will know a lot more about these than I do. I remember the first time I ever clocked eyes on one of these. Oh, my phone. Sorry. You're live on YouTube. What do you want to say?
I'm live on YouTube. What do I want to say? Hello, YouTube.
What do you want? Are you coming for a cup of tea?
No, that's what I was going to say.
Oh, okay. No worries.
I put it in the nav. It's half an hour.
Oh, don't worry. Yeah, 15 minutes there and back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
If it's 10 or 15 minutes, I would have, but
Okay.
it's like an hour on the...
No, it's fine. On the journey. No, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool, man.
All right. Did you buy it?
I'll leave you to be live on you. Yeah, bought it.
Oh, cool. What'd you get it for?
1,500
Brilliant.
quid.
Bargain. Right, I'm going to keep filming, and it's all right, is it? All right, mate. Take it easy. Bye-bye. Bye. Sorry. This is my life. I can't get anything done. Where was I up to? First time I ever clapped eyes on one of these was 1991, maybe? 92? There was a company just up the road from the motorbike shop I was working at called Bill Smith Motors, who I actually ended up working for. Long story. They used to import Jap imports by the container load, and the container would land, they'd unload the container, and all the local motorbike dealers would swarm and buy them all up to put in their showrooms. And that was the first time I'd ever seen one of these. It was like the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. Anyway, I digress. So, how are we going to skin this? Have I told you what's wrong? Oh, I can't remember where I was up to. Fucking hell, Malky. You've interrupted my thread. I'm going to watch what I've just filmed, and then I'm going to carry on. Okay. I know where I'm up to now. So, the story goes, the guy bought it. It didn't run. I think I'm getting this story correct. Or it ran very bad. No, it didn't not run. It ran very, very badly. And the exhaust pipe was leaking quite badly. So they tried to address the leaky exhaust pipe, snapped a load of studs off. It all unravelled. They ended up taking the cylinder head off to fix the leaky exhaust problem. So apparently that's all done. They found a new head gasket for it. It's all back together with a new head gasket. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking valve timing, right? That's what I was thinking. We might get to that. Basically, it's really, really hard to get it going. And if you can get it to start, it's absolutely horrible, apparently. Not like mechanical rattly horrible, but just doesn't run very well. I'll show you now. I've only ever heard one pop out of the exhaust pipe, but full choke. I mean, it basically does nothing. It sounds about right, turning over. So how are we going to skin it? I think you all know what I'm going to say. The very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to compression test it. Because you could very easily, you know this, if you didn't compression test it and you started chasing your tail doing other things, then yeah, you could waste a lot of time. So we're going to take the tank and I think probably the seat unit off, maybe some fairing, I don't know, we'll see what we need to remove to be able to get at stuff. Very first thing, let's do a compression test. Let's do basic testing. Compression test, let's test, see if it's got a spark. Let's assess at that point and decide which way we're going to go and what we think might be wrong. Okay, let's get it apart. Check that out. That is some airbox. Some weird looking battery too with a transparent top to it. I honestly don't remember them looking like this. Very interesting. And then I've got a question for all you aficionados out there. That's never a genuine seat unit, surely. chop strand carbon fibre, I'm not buying it. Tell me in the comments. Couldn't have been like that from new, could it, surely? No, it couldn't have been. The paintwork looks very original though, if you see what I mean. Interesting. Yeah, so let's... Got to get this airbox off so make it easier access to the plugs. Looks straightforward enough. Clamps on the back of the carbs. A couple of bolts at the top here. Bob's your auntie. Okie dokie. Nicely rounded off screws. Just what we don't like to see. And as is normally the case, they're not actually on the back of the carburetors properly, but they're probably rock hard and shrunk. There's a cable running through the middle of there. Oh, one throttle cable. Is that normal? No return? Yeah, that is normal. Ooh, it feels all mushy at full throttle. That feels pretty horrible. Can you see that? No. It's sort of... It's all soft at the end, like it's hitting something. Weird. Okay, let's put you back down there. So to get the airbox out of the way properly, I've got to disconnect the throttle cable. Great. Yeah, those airbox rubbers, are we getting this out in shot? They are absolutely done. They're as hard as this airbox. See how they're all loose? Because they've shrunk. And the chances of getting new airbox rubbers are basically 0. But anyway, I think that's possibly the least of this bike's problems. Okay, I'm going to have to get rid of that airbox, it's going to annoy me. How much of a mission is it going to be to get rid of that throttle cable? Super duper easy by the looks of it. 10mm spanner. Actually, I might have just spoken way too soon. Oh God. Really? How is that even possible? You know, actually I'm being a bit of an idiot because I'm going to need to do my compression test. I'm going to need... Why am I doing it this way? Oh, Jim. I'm going to need to give it full throttle, and if I disconnect the cable, I'm making my life difficult, aren't I? Silly boy. Let's leave the airbox where it is for now, and so we can get to the plugs easily, because if it's got no compression we're literally not going any further. So let's do that. Wait a minute. Oh no, that is right. I thought thought the HT leads were on the wrong way around then. So that's not going to help it run properly. Oh, it's so annoying. Let me disconnect it at the other end. Okay. At least we don't have a big fight because it's only one cable. Don't say that out loud. What's happening? Ugh. You see in there? It's got lots of insulation tape wrapped around it because the little, I suspect, because the little peg thing that keeps, yeah, the little peg thing that keeps the switchgear from rotating on the handlebar is not there anymore. Lovely. Okay. Is that going to fit through there or is it not? Hopefully it is. There we go. Okay, now I cannot have the airbox in the way and still give it full throttle when I need to. That's easier. Why don't you do that the first time? Yeah, that throttle feels a bit weird. I wonder what's... Anyway, we'll investigate that if we're taking the carbs off. Right, plug spanner. I'm assuming it's not too minging down in there because the head's recently been off. I got a question. Why do they call it a plug spanner when it's always a socket? You ever thought about that? That's a little glimpse inside my brain. That's the sort of thing I think about. Plug socket, just doesn't sound right, does it? I'm going to go and get a plug socket. It's a plug spanner. So let's hook our peepers on these plugs and see if they're going to tell us anything. Soaking wet, bone dry, black and oily. Not that, God, I don't want to get into it, but when an engine's running really badly for various reasons and the plugs are wet and black and sooty and oily looking, it's not really much of a, it's not really valuable information. So that is bone dry. That is bone dry. That one is wet-ish. That one is wet-ish. Let's get you a shot of these. Focus. It's basically telling me nothing. Let's get my compression gauge. I'll take that. It's still going up and it's at 150. Okay. It's fine. You can immediately see, you know, how the gauge reacts, and even the sound of it going over the compression stroke just on that one cylinder. I think we're going to be all right in terms of mechanicalness. Number 3. Yep. Marvellous. Okay, we have wind. So, although there's maybe a small question mark over valve timing. The fact that it's making compression and it hasn't bent all its valves suggests that it's probably all right. So I'm not going to worry too much on that. Now let's test for spark. Old school spark tester. No need to get too highly technical with this. You've seen this tool before. I've got about a 5mm gap there. In fact, I think my light is making it too bright. I've just noticed too. Look, this boot is all split. Not ideal, but not going to stop it from running. Let me turn that light out and shut the workshop door. I'm not sure you're getting that. Don't know whether it's coming out on camera. Anyway, I've got a spark on that cylinder. Let's check the other coil. Okay, I've got a spark there too. Not going any further than that with the ignition, or not for now at least. Okay, sparkage we have. So, basic test, we've got compression, we appear to have a spark. Where next? Next thing I'm going to do, if I can get to them, is I'm going to drain the carburetor float bowls. Do they even have drain screws? Yes, Allen keys. Let's drain the carbs. Let's see if there's fuel actually in the float bowls. That's another basic test. We're always thinking, aren't we? Compression, ignition, fuel. We've got compression, we've got ignition. Let's just do basic stuff now with the carbs. Are they full of petrol? I've just done, I didn't film it, I just did a CX-500 for somebody and it was fucking intermittently playing up. And anyway, yeah, the fuel tank was full of rust and the fuel tap was intermittently blocking up, which was causing lots of weird intermittent faults. And that was easy to find. Just pull the pipe off the carbs, let the fuel run into a jug. It would start off okay and then it would slowly grind to a halt. So you gotta, yeah, don't overthink these things. Take it in little bite-sized logical chunks. Right, am I going to be able to get an Allen key down there? Probably. Why is it the only fucking socket missing out of my set is the 5mm? If I needed the 4, that would be missing. Fuck's sake. Getting there? Don't know whether you're getting there. It's not coming out very quickly, but there is fuel in the float bowl. And by the looks of it, enough fuel. Right, let me drain all 4 and I'll bring you back in because the camera's kind of in the way. Okay, so that is the contents of that one float bowl. There's no water, but I don't know, it smells a bit stale. And it's a very funny colour. So what I'm going to do next, so nice little simple steps guys, to sort of feel your way into the problem if you like. I'm going to drain the rest of them. I'm going to put a alternate fuel supply to the carbs with fresh fuel that I know is fresh and good. I'm going to put a new set of plugs in it. Let's try and start it again and see what happens. You don't want to change too many things at once. You need to just, yeah, feel your way into the problem. Right, I'll do that and I'll bring you back. So I've got a fuel supply to the carbs. I've got new plugs in it. It's not ideal. This one is pissing fuel out, number 1. See that coming up the idle circuit? Filling number 1 cylinder up. Let's address that before I try and start it. Addressing problem. Readjusting float height. In all seriousness, we've talked about overflowing carburetors, haven't we, in the past? I've just checked the oil, and the oil level, if anything, is a little bit low, and the oil looks nice and clean and oily in the sight glass. So I've got the plug out of number 1. We just need to address this potentially hydraulic cylinder. Stuff a load of rag in the hole. I've disconnected the primary side of the coils. So in short, maybe not, but anyway, they're disconnected, so we don't want any sparks going on for obvious reasons, because we might be about to blow fuel everywhere. So let's give this a crank. Just tap the start button in case it sprays out in your face. which it's, oh, there it goes, look. Right, I'm going to let that soak in wet. I'm going to let that air for a bit while I go and make a brew. I'll come back. I won't turn the fuel on. The float bowls are full now on the carbs. Let's pop the plug in there. Let's see if it'll bark off and at least make a little bit of noise. We know at this point, you know, we've got a leaky float on this carb, so the carbs are coming off regardless at this point, but it'd be nice to hear it make noise and not blow a load of smoke out of the exhaust, etc. Right, see you in a bit. Okay, so plugs in, plug caps on, HT leads connected, got those coils connected back up. Shall I connect the throttle cable back up? That might make my life easier. Oh, I can manage like that. Right, full choke. Let's have a see. Fucking hell. I was expecting something, I have to say. 1 and 4, 2 and 3. No, it's definitely all connected. Okay, full choke. Oh. See that? Spitting out of this number 1 and backfiring through the exhaust. I wonder if 1 and 4 and 2 and 3 are completely mixed up, the coils. You see what I mean? So 2 and 3 should be 1 and 4, 1 and 4 should be 2 and 3. We could get really technical with a scope and try and measure it, or we could just swap the wires around or swap the coils over, because that is fresh plugs. I know there's fuel in the carbs. Let's maybe just give it, I don't like doing it, let's give it a sniff of easy start, see if anything happens. Open the butterflies. Now if the valve timing is somewhere near correct and there's a spark with clean plugs, you would expect it to do something. Not a fucking... Oh. Yeah, there's something very wrong there. I can hear a pop in the exhaust and it's coughing out of this one. Oh God. Okay. Let's just swap those HT leads over and see if that makes a difference. So that's got 3 dots on and that was on 3. It's definitely... Okay. Will it even reach if I do that? I'm thinking I might have to move the coils so the HT leads are the right length. If you see what I mean. If I make that one do... It's very tight, that HT lead that way. And I make that one do... See, that's got 2 dots on it though. That's a bit random. And that one's got 3 on it. Can you see that? This is all very confusing. So if that one does 1 and 4, and that one does 2 and 3, let's move that over. Two and 3, 1 and 4. Right, let's try that. Contact. That'll be why then. Now the throttle cable. Sounds a bit rattly. Not sure that's coming out on the mic. Not really any smoke coming out of it. On the choke off a bit. It's not happy at all, but it's making noise. Let's turn the fuel on for a second and just put a little bit more fuel back in those carbs and just see, warm it up a bit. Let's see if we can get it to idle. It runs fine with a choke out, but it really doesn't want to come down to an idle. Let me wind this idle stop screw in a little bit. Yeah, it doesn't want to. It's either revving its nuts off on choke, or if I back the choke off, it just dies. Okay. Aha. Carbs then. Let's get these carbs off. At least they're easy to get at, aren't they? Let's get them off. Let's just have an eyeball inside. At least we've heard? That's not the right word. At least we've heard it make a We've heard it make a noise. Hang on, that doesn't even sound right. Fucking hell, my dyslexic brain. Yeah, that's right. We've heard it make a noise. Fucking hell, you want to be inside my head, honestly. We've heard it make a noise. It sounds mechanically alright-ish. Little bit of tappity noise going on. We know valve timing is somewhere near correct now because it's barked off. No horrible smoke out the exhaust, no particularly horrific mechanical noises. Let's get these carbs on the bench and have a gander at what's going on inside.